Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. I've got a really easy and simple project for you to do, and that's making these fabric storage containers. This one is size 5 by 6, 6 by 7, and 7 by 9. So let's get started. I'm going to be making the smaller basket in this demonstration. So if you want to make all three sizes, check below your YouTube screen for the size of fabric that you need to cut. They're all different amounts. For each of the baskets, you'll need at least a ½ yard of fabric. You'll need 2 squares of either heavy iron-on interfacing or fusible fleece. It's whichever one you want to use. I've already cut my squares for that, and I needed to cut them 11 inches square. You'll also need 2 squares of fabric for the outside and then 2 squares of fabric for the lining. So these are the 2. I like to stack my fabrics and cut them all out at the same time. It saves time. So I'm going to use this acrylic ruler, and it would help if I put my glasses on, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to center my ruler inside of the raw edges of the fabric, and I'm going to show you how to cut a square. So you just cut across this way, and then you're going to go across this way. Then lift your ruler up and then take this corner and move it around like this. And then place the 11-inch lines on your ruler. They're going this way and this way. Place it on the 2 previously cut edges. And once you got it lined up, take your time lining it up, and then you're going to cut your last 2 sides. This is my fabric for the outside of the bag. On the back side of both pieces, you want to place your fusible interfacing or your fusible fleece and put it on the back side. Follow package instructions for putting on. It's a very simple process. Then you're going to bring both pieces of fabric together and place a few pins on 3 sides. And then on the 2 lower corners here, you're going to draw a square that is 2½ inches. So the easiest way that I do it is to take a square ruler, and I will place the 2½ inch lines on my ruler on the raw edge of the fabric, and then draw a line. Then you would go ahead and just cut these both these squares out. After you've got them cut, then stitch a ½ inch seam along this edge, and this edge. Then take your lining and do the same thing. Cut it the exact same way. Then on both pieces, press your seams open. Now to stitch the corners closed, you want to grab these 2 corners here and pull it apart to where you bring the seam on the side and the seam on the bottom together. And you line it up, and you're going to place pins. Then pin it across and stitch a ½ inch seam right along there so that it should look like this. So you do it at both corners on the fabric for the outside, and then make sure you do it on both lower corners on the lining. Take the lining side and turn it to where the pretty side is out. So you're turning it front side out, right side out. Poke out your corners, the 4 corners at the bottom, and then take the fabric that's your outside fabric, place the lining on the inside. Bring your seams together first and place pins to hold, and then continue pinning around. Then you want to leave an area that you're not going to stitch over. So I've got one pin on one side of the opening, but 2 pins on the other side. So I'm going to start at 1 pin and then stitch around. One of the easiest ways to stitch this, if you want to, if you have a case that goes around the arm of your sewing machine, you can remove it and slide this over and then stitch around the top, and it's real easy to turn your fabric. And you're going to stitch a 1/2 inch seam. Reach through the opening and pull the lining through that opening. And then continue to push the other fabric through the opening. Reach back in through the opening and poke at all 4 corners. Then take the lining fabric and push it inside of the bag or the cube, fabric cube. You can do this next step any of 2 different ways. You can press this top edge to where your seam is nice and centered, or you can pin it. And then at your opening, you're going to fold those opening edges in 1/2 inch. Then stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge all the way around the top. The last step that I recommend that you do is to press the edges along the bottom. I will just take the tip of my iron and point it in and just press along here to give it its shape. Then I'll fold it at the corners or along the sides, and then again using the tip of the iron, pressing it along there. And this helps to give it its nice little boxy shape. One more thing I wanted to show you is I made this one using fat quarters, and there's 4 different fat quarters. There's 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside. So if you've got a lot of fat quarters and you can't figure out what to do with them, try using them on these baskets. Weren't these little basket cubes fun? I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you do try making these if you already haven't done something like this. I really enjoy this type of project, and I do use these for storing a lot of my fabrics. Now make sure you follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page, and don't forget to look below your YouTube screen for video links to other beginner sewing projects. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.